I would say that being in the classroom and then advising students outside of the classroom is really one of the most, exhilarating and I would say meaningful experiences of being a teacher. And I always use the word teacher because professor sounds like professing. And I learn as much from my students as they've learned from me. I can't tell you the times I walked in the classroom and I might have even been a little bit busy and I'm going to teach something. And, oh, I've taught this before. I kind of know how this is going to play out. I know this case really well. I've read it 100 times. And I'll say something, a student will raise his hand or raise her hand and say, Professor Zeppos, what about this? And it just will jolt me. And sometimes I just have to exclaim, I've never thought of that. It can happen after teaching for 15 years. So, one thing I really miss being an administrator is, you're kind of viewed like the principal, and you're not always viewed as a teacher, but teaching and being in the classroom is just the best part of being at Vanderbilt. Since I teach in a law school, many of my students come back to the university. I see them at reunions. I think now they even are trying to solicit business from me since they think maybe their law firm could do some work here. But what's really, in most places, rewarding is to see your students go out and do great things that, you never want to take credit because they're so talented. But I have students who are judges, members of Congress, managing law firms, doing not-for-profit work, devoting themselves to great causes. And to see that happen it fulfills your dreams for what is possible through education. I had a former student of mine, he graduated, I think, over 20 years ago. And when I became the interim chancellor, he called me up and he said, boy, a bunch of us were talking, you were our professor, and we can't believe that you're really the interim chancellor. And I said, you know what I can't believe? That you're a managing partner at the law firm. Your attendance in class was terrible. So there is this incredible sense of seeing someone young and maybe a little bit immature, but kind of growing into something absolutely extraordinary. Community is very, very important at Vanderbilt, and it's, I think, a defining quality. And when you walk on a college campus, you can kind of get a feel for, how do people interact and how do people relate to each other? And is there a warmth? Is there a sense of connection? Is there a sense of coldness, of kind of distance? And Vanderbilt has always been, I think, known for its very strong sense of community. And I think a large part of that, and you can tell I'm probably not a native Southerner, I think being in the South is a very strong factor in defining that sense of community and friendliness and connection and empathy at times. So community is really, it's not a number like a grade point average. It's not like a new building you can point to. Here's our new fine arts building, or our SAT went up 6 points. So it's hard to really believe it until you come here. And I always tell parents and prospective students, come exam week. Go to schools during exam week. You'll see them at their most stressed. And you'll see Vanderbilt, our students who are helping each other, who are even smiling as they're walking back and forth at what is usually the most stressful time of the year. Vanderbilt's community is also, I think, like many universities and colleges, we strongly embrace diversity of all kinds. And one of our major goals at Vanderbilt is to move and really not even consider diversity as statistics. A percentage of this, a percentage of that. Diversity is a means to an end. And that end is a robust community of incredible differences You know, people who grew up 3 miles from this campus go to college here. And people who are from 3,000 miles away go to college here. People whose native language is not English go to college here. All these differences. The challenge we have at Vanderbilt, and the challenge the world has, and we have many advantages in our community, is we really try to make it one. That through difference really becomes sameness and community. That if I'm from 3 blocks away or 3 miles away and you're 3,000 miles away, what I say to the freshmen, learn from those differences, because that'll make you a better leader. But trust the sameness, that you're talking to another human being, that each of you and all of you have that human capacity, and you all chose to come to this place called Vanderbilt. So our dream is really this rich diversity of community, but not to break out in pods or segments or silos, but really to get the most important thing, which is to bring differences together, learn from the differences, and then to really extract from the 4 years here, you know, the salient commonalities that we have as our graduates do, bright human beings with incredible potential, and to reach across those differences to solve problems and build true community. Vanderbilt is situated in an incredible city called Nashville, Tennessee. And when I spend time with students or we spend time with faculty, we talk about the strong connection between Vanderbilt and Nashville. Vanderbilt's a world-class university, and we are very proud of that. And you can go to many parts of the world and people will know of the great things done at Vanderbilt. Too often, I think people start out with, we are a world-class university. There are researchers in Denmark collaborating. There are students, as we speak, in New South Wales studying abroad. I think you have to think of Vanderbilt, though, as really concentric circles. You know, we are at the corner of West End and Hillsborough, bordered by Wedgwood and Blakewood on the other side. We're in a neighborhood. Many of our neighbors work here. Many of them went here. And so I always think our first obligation, obviously we're educating on the campus, but our obligation and our mission grows out to that. How do we relate to our neighborhood? How do we serve the neighborhood? How does our mission connect to the problems of our city? How can we contribute to the overall quality of life in Nashville, Tennessee? Not because we're better or we're Vanderbilt, but because I think a university, public or private, is in an ecosystem. And so you always have to think of Vanderbilt being on this corner, in this neighborhood, in Nashville, in Middle Tennessee, in America, in the world. And you have to serve every need and be connected at every one of those. And if you skip one, jump over one, you won't be a great university. It's impossible to be a great university and not have those who are closest to you geographically say, I live near Vanderbilt. I didn't go there, or Vanderbilt's in my city. To feel that sense of pride that we all have, and that sense of connection, and the sense that in issues of health, education, quality of life, the environment, whatever our areas of inquiry and discovery are, we ought to be thinking of how does that relate to our city. Well, another thing that we're very proud of is our students all live on campus, but our students are so, I guess I would say, committed to being active in a community. That goes to how we choose students. You know, we have many students who go off campus to volunteer, to participate in service, to do internships. We're in a state capital. Want to learn how the legislative process works? Just drive 2 miles down and sit around. So there are just incredible learning opportunities. But, you know, we have to give back because that's our whole mission. And whether it's treating a child who fell off a slide or whether it's hosting a mayoral debate, that's what we should be doing.